James Gunn's Superman doesn't just feel like another superhero movie. It feels like a comic book that somehow stepped off the page and into live action. Sure, the colorful suits, Silver Age references, and accurate casting all help, but those things alone don't create the sensation of reading a comic. Other films have tried them and still fallen flat. The real difference is that Gunn embraced three traits from the comics that no director had ever brought to live action before. And while that's what makes this film so special, it also sparked controversy, leaving some audiences divided. So let's break down exactly how Gunn captured the comic book feel, and why that bold choice is both his greatest strength and his riskiest gamble. One of the most striking things about Superman is the way its story unfolds. Gunn doesn't follow the typical Hollywood blueprint of slowly building a world, spoon-feeding origins, or carefully setting the stage. Instead, he drops us into the middle of a universe that feels like it's already in motion, exactly like opening a random comic issue at your local shop. Take Superman number 27 as an example. The issue begins with Clark under the effects of red kryptonite, battling Marilyn Moonlight, while Lex Luthor schemes in the background with his beard and mech. There's no lengthy setup, no explanations for who these characters are, and no recap of the last 10 years. You're simply expected to accept what's happening and roll with it. Gunn does the same thing on screen. The movie opens with Superman already established, already scarred by battles we didn't see, and already recognized by the world around him. The text crawl mentions the Hammer of Baravia, Superman's recent defeat, and the presence of metahumans. But we never see those moments play out. There's no flashback to his first flight, no romantic montage with Lois, no childhood on the farm. For some fans, this was thrilling. Finally, a film that trusts the audience's intelligence and mirrors the rhythm of comics. But for others, it was disorienting. They felt robbed of the first act, like the movie had skipped a crucial introduction. That split reaction is important. Hardcore readers instantly recognized Gunn's approach as authentic to the source material, but casual viewers used to Marvel's step-by-step storytelling weren't always ready for it. And that tension is exactly what makes Gunn's Superman both revolutionary and polarizing. But storytelling alone wasn't the only comic book trait Gunn nailed. The second one is even riskier, and far rarer in superhero cinema. Superhero movies usually operate in isolation. Even when they exist in a shared universe, you rarely see other heroes stepping in unless the film is explicitly an ensemble project. Batman doesn't call Superman when Gotham is under siege. Spider-Man doesn't swing by to help the Avengers unless it's an Avengers movie. These characters coexist on paper, but on screen, they're strangely absent. James Gunn decided to flip that. In Superman, Metamorpho, Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, and Hawkgirl don't just cameo, they matter. They step into the action, they solve problems, and they interact with Clark in ways that feel seamless, not forced. When a kaiju levels Metropolis, it isn't just Superman saving the day. When Lois needs backup, she doesn't call the police, she calls the Justice Gang. This isn't a Superman movie featuring heroes. It's a Superman movie that acknowledges he lives in a world full of them. Comic readers will recognize this instantly. Open almost any Superman run, and you'll find other heroes drifting in and out, lending a hand or clashing with Clark. It's part of the identity of the DC universe. Gunn didn't just acknowledge that, he embraced it fully. But again, controversy followed. Some critics argued that including so many heroes diluted Superman's spotlight. They feared it was another Batman versus Superman situation, bloated with too many characters. Gunn avoided that by keeping Clark at the center, but the risk remains. For audiences used to tightly focused origin stories, this abundance of heroes felt overwhelming. Still, the payoff is undeniable. For the first time, a live-action movie truly felt like a shared comic universe, and that sense of a world already alive and populated added weight to every scene. Transition. But if the ensemble heroes brought breadth to Gunn's Superman, the next trait gave it the most authentic comic book soul. One of the most frustrating trends in superhero cinema is the obsession with grounding everything in realism. Powers have to be explained with pseudoscience. Suits must be military-grade armor, and cosmic phenomena get long-winded explanations. It's all about making the impossible feel plausible, but comics don't play by those rules. Comics throw readers into pocket universes, multiversal wars, and kryptonite meteors without apologizing for how realistic it is. Readers accept it because it's fun, bold, and imaginative. Gunn Superman embraces that chaos. Pocket universes, dimensional imps, kaiju in the middle of Metropolis, they're presented as normal. Citizens treat metahumans like celebrities, snapping pictures during battles instead of freaking out. The news covers world-ending threats with the casual tone of a traffic report. And when Luthor manipulates cosmic forces, the movie doesn't waste time with a TED Talk explanation. It simply shows the consequences. This decision divided viewers. Some loved the unapologetic embrace of comic logic. Others felt it was too bizarre, too fast, too unreal. But that's exactly the point. Gunn wanted to capture the tone of comics, where extraordinary things happen constantly and people just roll with it. And speaking of rolling with it, Gunn didn't stop at story and sci-fi. He went further, right down to the way his characters look on screen. For years, superhero films have struggled with costumes. Directors worried that full suits would look silly or unrealistic. So we got endless compromises. Tactical armor, muted colors, or heroes spending most of the runtime in civilian clothes. Gunn rejected all of that. In his Superman, heroes look like heroes. They wear their costumes constantly, whether they're in battle or grabbing a meal. Guy Gardner rocking his lantern suit in a diner isn't treated as strange. It's treated as normal, just like in the comics. This detail might sound small, but it's massive for comic book fans. Clark himself is in costume for 26 minutes of the film, more than triple Henry's suit time in Man of Steel. That commitment shows Gunn isn't embarrassed by the source material, he's proud of it. Critics, of course, had their say. Some thought it leaned too far into cosplay territory, breaking immersion. Others applauded the authenticity. But love it or hate it, it's unmistakably comic book accurate. And it sets Gunn's Superman apart. But here's where things get complicated. If Gunn Superman captured the essence of comics better than any movie before it, why didn't it crush the box office? On paper, Gunn's Superman should have been a slam dunk. Bold storytelling, authentic visuals, a sprawling world. It had everything fans had been asking for. Yet, financially, it fell short of Man of Steel. Why? The answer circles back to the very choices that made it special. By skipping traditional structure, Gunn alienated casual viewers. By flooding the film with other heroes, he risked overshadowing Superman. By embracing wild concepts without explanation, he lost audiences who wanted grounding. For die-hard fans, these risks paid off. For general audiences, they created confusion. Gunn made a movie for the comic faithful, and in doing so, he may have built a masterpiece that mainstream viewers weren't ready for. James Gunn's Superman is more than a film. It's an experiment. One that finally translates the language of comics into live action. From its bold structure, to its ensemble heroes, to its unapologetic embrace of the bizarre, it feels like opening a Superman issue and being thrown into the action mid-panel. But experiments come with risks. Some will call it messy, others will call it brilliant. And the question remains, will this be the foundation of a new DC universe that dares to stay true to comics? Or will audiences push back, demanding the safer formulas of old? Let me know what you think. Did Gunn's Superman finally give us the comic-accurate movie we've always wanted? Or was it too much too soon? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if you enjoyed the breakdown, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.